Sally Barker here. I'm just going to wait for a little while just to see if this does actually go live. The whole platform has changed a little bit on when we go live to start off with, and so there we go. It's now it's counting down. So good morning. It's been a while since I've popped in, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to see anyone commenting, but this is a big trial here. So today what I want to talk to you about is sports hypnosis. I posted a question on my page this week. I wanted to see what people thought when they heard the term sports hypnosis. Now, I had a lot of different comments, but it, ultimately is quite a misunderstood modality that is used as part of mental training or mental toughness training or mindset training for athletes, but not only athletes, high achievers, and we can all use hypnosis if we are wanting to improve, get better, transform. But for now, we're talking about sports hypnosis, and it was really interesting, some of the comments I had. Some people saying getting the head in the right space, it's better than drugs, unstoppable, mindset training for athletes with the added magic of hypnosis. Tiger Woods, and of course, I'll talk about this a little bit later. Tiger Woods was a big fan, or is a big fan of using hypnosis, and the possibility of improving my golf game. Now, yes, it is very possible, and it has been used, as I just said, Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus. There's been lots of elite golfers who have used hypnosis to enhance, improve their game, but also to cut out that chatter or the distractions. Before I get more into that, I do work with athletes and high achievers so they can eliminate their anxiety and self-doubt, so they can easily get into the zone and they can perform with confidence and mental toughness and power. Also joy, because I really feel like when you do start out getting into a sport, you have a joy, you have a love, like you really enjoy doing it. And oftentimes when we start to get a little bit more serious, that joy kind of falls away. So using hypnosis as a modality to really get back to the roots of why you started, what was it about that, and bring that joy back in. So it really makes my day when I hear past clients say that people around them are noticing that they're starting to smile again, rather than having this scowl or this frown or this real seriousness on their face. Hi Karen. Yes, it is. It is so needed these days, and we do often talk about elite sports, but it's also, it's not just reserved for elite athletes or elite sports. This is for all levels, high school, college, university, even amateur athletes who have these goals they want to meet. I did have a recent client who is in his 30s, and he said, oh gee, I wish I'd learnt this when I was in high school, when I was trying certain sports, because it would have made a big difference. Now, it's a universal language. I talk to my teenagers, about this. I do practice new techniques on my teenagers, so it can transfer right through from teenagers right up to the elite. The one thing that I did want to talk to you about is I did mention some of the famous or elite sporting teams who have used hypnosis. Now, there's a series on Netflix at the moment, The Last Dance, and it's a bit of a story about Michael Jordan, but Phil Jackson, one of the Chicago Bulls coaches, he used hypnosis with the entire team. So oftentimes you'll have a team and you'll have an individual athlete go out and seek this kind of assistance themselves, but then we do have whole Olympic teams, whole professional sporting teams who will have a coach who will take this on and introduce it to the entire team. And yes, in the US, you are getting back to competing again. And we are here, in Australia, starting to compete again. I've seen some excitement from some of the athletes in some of the groups that I'm a member of. So what is sports hypnosis? It is a powerful modality where what we can do is we can, a lot of the times, one of the biggest things that I hear from athletes is the anxiety in the lead up to a competition, not being able to perform as well as they do when they're training or when they're practicing, and also self-doubt. I'm not good enough. What makes me think that I can do this? The other person looks fitter, looks stronger, looks bigger. Like, all of these things start to go through. So using sports hypnosis as part of the package for mental training is a very powerful way to reframe that thinking and create a new way of thinking. So if you imagine what's going on in your mind, as I've mentioned in some of my videos before, we have, in a simplistic way, we have two parts. We have the conscious and the subconscious. And the subconscious is more like our autopilot, and it's responsible for, more than 95% of what we do on a daily basis. Now let that sink in for a bit. 95%, more than. Which means that on our conscious level, the things where we are sort of thinking, this is what I want, setting our goals, that's, between 0.5 and 5%, such a small percentage. So if we're going around running on autopilot for most of the time, doesn't it make sense that if we have a technique where we can bypass the conscious and get into the subconscious mind to communicate what you want, it is going to be beneficial? So that's what we do. We get you into such a deeply relaxed hypnotic state, and we use the goals, the visualizations, and all of those things. We bring in like the smells and the sounds and the feelings of how you want to perform. And what we do is when we're in hypnosis and we start to communicate with the subconscious mind, and with intensive programs you will have audio to listen to really reinforce what you do in the session, and that really helps. So what we can do is we create this vision, these visualizations, what you want, because our mind works in movies, in pictures. And even if you're one of those people who say, well, I don't see pictures, the thought, you'll even have the thought or the feelings, those sorts of things that will be going on in there. So creating a new way of thinking. Because what happens is generally, you can get out there, if it, on the pitch, on the field, on the mat, and your mind will gravitate straight away. You'll go, okay, I'm not nervous, I'm not nervous, I'm not nervous. So straight away you'll go, oh, okay, your body goes nervous, let's react in that way, tense up, all your muscles are going to be tense, you won't perform at your best. And then when things start to, maybe even go your way, your mind has a tendency to go back to the last time you didn't do so well. So even if you are going well, you can go, oh, now this is going really well, I better not let that happen again. So with mental training, we create this beautiful environment where you are focusing on how you want things to go, not how you don't want them to go. And it's not just about changing how things are going. It's also, getting rid of those, like I said, the anxieties, the self-doubt, bringing in those feelings of confidence. Now, confidence for me could feel very different to what confidence for you feels like. What does it look like? What does it feel like? So having all of those things built into a beautiful program, creating the environment and the outcome you want is, all what sports hypnosis is. So it's not an easy thing to answer, but it is very important. And it doesn't only apply in your sport. All of these things you learn transfer into other parts of your life. And that's really important, having that balance. So if you've been experiencing certain anxieties or self-doubts going into competing, performing, chances are these sorts of things will pop up in your personal life, your business life, your relationships. So what you learn there is transferable into the other parts of your life. So I hope that really helps. One of my biggest tips right now would be, do yourself a favor and learn some relaxation techniques. Get a pen and paper and write down something you want. Don't just go, I want to earn $1 million in the next 6 months. I want you to find a specific goal. I want to run 5K, sub 20. What does that feel like? What does that smell like? What does it look like? From the very beginning, watch the end, every step of the way. Create the smells. Really pinpoint areas where you might generally get stuck. Really work out what it's going to look like. If there's an area you normally get stuck, what are we going to do about that? Really start to think about how you want things to be and stop dwelling on how things have been, the things that you've done wrong. Because of the 3 or 4 things that might not have gone right, even though you might have won or you might not have won, there are a dozen other things that you can focus on and you can really improve. So that's my tip for today. Get some visualizations written down. Learn to relax because your body responds. Your mind needs to be focused. Your body and your muscles need to be in a relaxed and ready state to be able to perform at your best. Anyway, send me any messages or any questions that you have about that. But for now, that's all. I'll talk to you next time.